Hi, and welcome once again to Stone Soup.
The world according to sci-fi geeks.
And today we're going to talk about movies, because we've been going to the movies a lot lately on account of we had to get kind of caught up, and actually we haven't gotten caught up because there's still a couple we haven't gotten to. But we have seen X-Men First Class, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, Part 2, and Captain America. We're going to start with X-Men because that was the first one we saw. Excellent movie.
Yes.
Loved the cast, loved the script, loved everything about it.
There are a few continuity issues when you take in X-Men Origins Wolverine, but otherwise it was very good.
It was.
One of the best parts, actually speaking of Wolverine, was the unexpected guest appearance of Wolverine.
Go see it if you haven't. We can't use language like that. He's Wolverine. He doesn't give a flying fickle finger of fate.
Yes. But there was just this nice using what they already established in the first movie and building from that, and how Magneto and Professor Xavier first met and were briefly friends. Though keeping in mind that even while they were friends, Magneto, was already teetering toward the dark side because of what he'd been through, which it makes sense.
They had different views of the world, and both of them were right.
Yeah,
always have been. That's what makes it. One of the things about it interesting is Magneto is kind of evil, but he's kind of evil because he got all twisted up inside as a kid.
Because he witnessed horrors that no one should have to witness.
Plus, CGI is getting so amazing, so magnificent.
Yep.
There's a young lady in there with fairy wings or dragonfly wings, whatever you want to call them, and they look wonderful, just wonderful.
Yes. And there's just this wonderful, in the established first three movies that were made, Charles and Magneto were both very old men who've been doing this a very long time, and Magneto has this immense ease with how he uses his power. In this one, he doesn't have it yet, which makes sense. But you can see him building up to it.
Yeah, he's enormously powerful, but he's not. What's the word I want? He doesn't do it with style.
Have the finesse.
He doesn't have the finesse. That's the word, because he does not yet understand just how powerful he is,
and just how fine his control is,
or can become.
Rather,
it isn't quite yet, and that's wonderful that they realized that they needed to do that. And I give all that credit probably to Bryan Singer.
Largely, yes,
because somebody had to stop and say, you know what? As good as they are in present day, they were that powerful. They've always been that powerful, but probably not that adept at it.
Because it takes practice.
And the more you practice, the more knowledge you have of what you can do. And we just really, really enjoyed that movie.
Yes.
And we can't wait to get a copy of it so we can watch it, 4 or 5 dozen more times. Onward to the next day, we went to see Harry Potter.
And the Deathly Hallows
Part 2. First, it's the last Harry Potter movie. No! Sob. But it is wonderful.
At least until the remakes.
Until the remakes, yeah. But it is fabulous. It is utterly fabulous.
As with all the other movies, look, I love the Harry Potter movies. I do. But every single one of them leaves out important information that was in the books.
Yeah.
They broke this thing up into 2 movies, and they still left out critical need to know information.
Such as?
Well, for one thing, when Voldemort used Harry's blood as part of the ingredients to remake his body, he effectively made himself Harry's Horcrux. That's why Harry didn't die this time when Voldemort blasted him.
I mean, every other person who got hit with an Avada Kedavra is just instantly dead, period. There is no defending against it.
Yep, that's one of the reasons it's an unforgivable curse, because there's no way to block it,
and
except
yet,
running.
Harry survived it. Why? They never even explain it.
Nope.
And that's just weird, because they had the moment. In the book, there is this moment where it is explained to Harry why he's not going to stay dead.
Yes.
And so they had their time. They could have done it. It probably is was filmed, and then for some reason they decided to clip it out. It's annoying.
One hopes. And let's see, what else? Oh, the fact that when Harry went out into the Force to die in order to save everybody else in Hogwarts, he gave them the protection his mother gave him. The Death Eaters couldn't hurt them anymore. Not in any lasting way.
Their spells started to go wrong. They wouldn't hit square. They'd zing off.
They wouldn't inflict as much damage
as they should have. And that gave the good guys, a huge advantage.
Mm-hmm. And
I don't think they even put that in. It's like,
no,
you guys didn't bother to read the goddamn book.
Seriously. And one other small thing is, it's Deathly Hallows, and they never bothered to really get into the Deathly Hallows themselves, especially the fact that one of the Deathly Hallows is an invisibility cloak. In the book, it's pointed out that there are other invisibility cloaks, but they wear out. After a few years, the spells on them fade, and they just become normal cloaks. They tatter. The invisibility cloak of the Deathly Hallows is perfect forever.
And that means Harry's got it. He's always had it since he was 11 years old.
Yep.
And before him, it belonged to his dad.
And before that, his grandfather or maybe his grandmother. We don't know.
And considering the wand and who had it and who passed on the cloak to Harry, he knew.
Yep.
He'd always known.
And again, in the book, while Harry is having his last conversation with Dumbledore, this is discussed.
All this stuff is in the book, obviously, or we wouldn't know. And they had their opportunity. Why didn't they use it?
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, the acting is fabulous.
Yes.
The directing is fabulous. It's just they leave out these chunks, and some of it's really important.
And I just kind of nickels at those of us who are like, but that was important.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it's a great, great flick, a great ending to the series. And
ignore that land shark.
We loved it. We loved them all. It's just the usual round of, but they should have kept that.
Yeah. Some weekend we're just going to do ourselves a whole Harry Potter marathon, starting with the first one. Matter of fact, we've been talking about the fact that we are resisting the urge to start reading the books again. Because you pick up Sorcerer's Stone and you will not stop until you're at the end of Deathly Hallows. We know this from experience.
I have read the whole series 3 times.
You can't stop. You cannot read part of one book.
It doesn't.
It just doesn't work. It's like eating one popcorn kernel. Oh, yeah, right. Yeah.
It doesn't happen.
And then, onward and upward to the movie we saw today.
Captain America,
the First Avenger. Yeah. Again, CGI is just getting so amazing. Because they had to have... They started out with Steve Rogers, maybe 5'6", 5'8".
Yep.
90 pounds. Dripping wet, with a dripping wet fur coat on.
Yep.
Just a skinny, scrawny little guy.
Yes.
But he's still Chris Evans. And then he gets into the thing, you've seen it in the commercials, and he steps out and he's, quote, taller and a whole much more buff. And
all of a sudden he's built like a Buick.
But when he climbs in, I mean, they had him take his shirt and stuff off because they needed to hook some stuff up to him. It's seamless. I mean, I don't know.
A couple other times, either in just a tank top or shirtless. And it's not really him. It's CGI or a body double with his head CGI'd onto it.
But it's seamless. It is amazing. And I have read that Chris Evans kind of insisted that he wanted to do the beginning part. He knew he couldn't. He couldn't be tiny and scrawny. He can't be 5'8" no matter what he does.
No.
He could walk on his knees, I guess.
Well, maybe,
but he wanted to do that part because that's where the character is developed. Who Steve Rogers is, what he is deep inside, and why he was chosen for the experiment. Now, in the comic books, he wasn't the only one chosen.
Yes.
He was just the only one who survived.
Yeah.
So, probably Steve Rogers was an early mutant, maybe, because to survive that. It's kind of like I've always said Spider-Man. Peter Parker has to have some kind of a mutation that allowed him to not only survive the spider bite, but benefit from it.
Yes.
But anyway.
But, in this one, they probably are going to have others. Once they did Steve was there first. There's a certain level of, will this actually do anything other than kill them? But then things happen, and the rest of their super soldier serum, or S cubed, got destroyed.
Well, X cubed is what your dad and I called our super soldier serum in our series of movie scripts.
Good point.
Maybe we'll tell you about that someday. But anyway.
And
it is a super soldier
so they can't
serum.
make more.
Yeah, they had like 1 tube left, and it got broke and spilled all over, and the guy who created it was dead, so they can't make any more. They don't, unless they can figure out from Steve's blood what they need to do.
And that's what they were trying to do.
And that's what they were trying to do, but You know?
There's some wonderful writing in this movie because you start, like we said, with scrawny little Steve Rogers, and we basically follow him first through his initial efforts to get into the Army. Then they go through the experiment, but they don't initially put him back in because he's the only one they got. They need to study him, and they don't know if it's going to be permanent. He could shrink overnight for all they know.
Yeah.
So it takes a while before he finally really gets out on the battlefield.
Yeah.
And again, it takes a little while before he finally really earns the respect of the other soldiers who are mostly looking at him going, you gotta be kidding me. It could have something to do with the USO tights.
Yeah, but, you know, they were using him to sell bonds to make money for the war effort. And it was what he could do best. And like she was saying, until they knew it was permanent, they can't put him out on the front lines. What if he's leading a group of soldiers into a battle and suddenly, whoop, he's just not him anymore?
Yep.
People could die. But it is a terrific, we adored it.
Yes.
We just absolutely love that movie. And of course, they had the lead in to...
Say after the credits, people, there's a double cookie.
Yeah. And the thing is, if you've been watching the Marvel movies, you know what they're leading up to. The Avengers.
Yes.
And there's practically an Avengers trailer at the end. It's the second
I'd call it a
cookie.
trailer myself.
What?
I'd call it a trailer.
Okay.
A teaser trailer for the Avengers movie at the end.
It looks like it's gonna be fabulous. I can't wait. Iron Man and Thor and Captain America and who else? Oh, Hulk
and Hawkeye.
And Hawkeye and probably Wasp and Ant-Man.
They should be in there.
Now, Wasp and Ant-Man aren't going to get their own movie first. They're just going to show up as Avengers. But we've seen Hawkeye. If you were paying attention in Thor, he was there.
Yes.
If you missed him, go back and see Thor a couple more times until you see him. Because it'll be so worth it if you can take your eyes off Thor. Well, that's a job and a half. But anyway, this by the way, is an Avengers #1 from 1963.
Yep.
Did we ever mention that we're geeks? And comic books is one of the things that my husband and I have been collecting for like 35 or more years. And this is an old comic book. Yes. And it is fabulous. And you'll notice you've got Thor and Hulk and, my God, this little golden guy down here, I think that is Iron Man.
Oh, yeah. Well,
and this guy up here in the green, that's Loki. If you've seen Thor, you know that Loki was the bad guy in Thor, and we saw him in the trailer for the Avengers movie.
So they're going to go at least partially with that.
Yeah. Now it was a quick flash. You know, he was walking across the screen, and then he was gone. And it was like, was that Loki? Yeah, that was Loki.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, basically, one thing that they have been indicating most strongly in this last cookie was that S.H.I.E.L.D. already knows that something, we don't know what yet, but something big is coming to bitch slap Earth. So that's why they're gathering all these heroes, pardon my language.
Yeah, I like bitch slap. I mean, there was just the kind of a toss-off line. Cap says, you want to try and get me back into
the world.
Yeah,
you wake up after 70 years.
And Nick Fury says, no, I want to save it.
And Cap's like,
ooh, is Earth in trouble? What, again?
Yeah.
Yeah, big trouble. And this time, well, I was going to say this time not from each other because, you know, World War II is where Cap came from, and we were in trouble then from each other. But I don't know because they didn't say what it was. They didn't even really hint what it was except for showing us Loki. And that doesn't tell us a whole lot.
No. But, you know, they must know something is on the way. Otherwise, why would they be doing this?
Yeah.
Though, like I said, we've seen all the guys. There are women in the Avengers. They really need to give them a little attention before people start saying, oi, sexist pigs!
Yeah, because you got Wasp is female. She is actually the wife of Ant-Man. And there's also...
Bug love.
Bug love. Oh, no, love bugs. If you're from Florida, you know why that's funny. No, who else? It's the red... Scarlet Witch. There's a Scarlet Witch. That's not... She-Hulk.
She's there.
She-Hulk is a blast. She's way more fun than the Hulk.
I so want to see her in the movies.
Yeah. Your dad way wants to see her in the movies. She's 6'9" and emerald green. People are going to stare no matter what she's wearing. So she don't wear very much because it gets in her way. And so there. And what she does wear is spandex.
Yes. As you once said in the 90s Hulk cartoon, just how I like it. Shiny and tiny.
Yeah. So
that's something to look forward to very much so. But we need more women
our stupid
here.
telephone just went off. So anyway, what we're trying to say is all three of these movies are well worth your money. Go and see them. Yes. They are lots and lots of fun.
And Marvel needs to, pay a little more attention to some of its female characters. I know most of the females are not as well known as a lot of the men, but come on.
Come on, guys.
But other than that, fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the one time they had to give, equal time to a female, basically, was Sue Storm.
Well, Storm and Jean Grey.
And
Rogue.
And Storm.
Yeah. I said Storm, Jean Grey.
Well, Sue Storm. You said Sue Storm.
Oh.
That's her name, right? Sue and Johnny Storm.
No, Jean Grey, Storm, Rogue.
Yeah. In the X-Men, the women do get their recognition. But in the FF, oh my God, I'm glad they're rebooting for the sake of Sue anyway, because talk about miscasting.
As we said once before, she fits the costume, not the character.
Not the character, not the role. Be that as it may.
But either way, great movies. You should totally see them.
Totally go see them. Quick, like a bunny, because they are way too much fun to miss.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.